Dearest child, when you entered that room, the universe seemed to pause, for there was someone who had long awaited your return, a silent prayer finally answered. Their spirit ignited with a brilliance akin to fireworks, though no one else could see it. They were unprepared for your confident, healed, and formidable presence, and in that fleeting moment, they found it hard to draw breath. Their hands quivered and their heart raced as a reality they had long resisted dawned upon them. You had transformed into someone entirely new. Surprisingly, it was not your appearance that left them astounded, but rather your serene silence and tranquil energy, which felt like fate realigning itself. In the past, this person had thought you depended on them for your survival, yet today, they bore witness to a version of you that was the very tempest they once fled from. Their smile, a spontaneous eruption of disbelief and gratitude, reflected a miracle they never thought possible. Life had serendipitously intertwined your paths once more. They perceived the glow of your transformation, the strength emanating from you, and in an instant, everything clicked into place. Attune your ears, for the pivotal moment that shifted everything was only visible to them. They caught the glint in your eyes that was previously absent, the tranquility in your stride, and the quiet flame that suggested you were destined for something monumental. You communicated nothing, no words were spoken to announce your triumph. Yet your mere existence proclaimed, "I have persevered," and that unvoiced affirmation was potent enough to shake their reality to its core. They were captivated, for deep down, they sensed that something profound was imminent. What astonished them most was not your achievements, it was the stark realization that you sought neither validation, revenge, recognition, nor closure. You simply existed, and that alone was transformative enough to rewrite their narrative. They had imagined encountering you in a state of despair, confusion, or loss. Instead, life presented before them a magnificent version of you, crowned in resilience. In that singular instant, each assumption, judgment, and miscalculation disintegrated like a house of cards. Their elation was not rooted in ego, but rather in the realization of witnessing an extraordinary unfoldment they had thought improbable. Yet there is an intriguing twist: this person remains unidentified to you, harboring profound feelings for you that, when uncovered, will redefine everything you believed about your path, destiny, and future. The truth is, their joy was not simply emotional. Within your presence lay the evidence that miracles can come not with a storm, but gently, a quiet force of unwavering confidence. They spent months convincing themselves that you were lost to them forever. Yet the universe brought you back precisely when they needed hope the most, and they gazed upon you like a soul seeing the dawn after a protracted period of darkness, struggling to comprehend destiny's intricate timing. Unknown to you, they followed your journey from afar, witnessing your resilience through life's relentless challenges. They observed your silent struggles, your grace in adversity, and the battles you faced without a word, which made the sight of you now feel like the fulfillment of a prophecy. Your tenacity inspired them, affirming that strength can be both gentle and potent enough to alter realities. Even more astonishing, this individual had rehearsed countless conversations in their mind, apologies, explanations, confessions. Yet when your gazes intertwined, every planned phrase dissipated, replaced by an overwhelming sense of relief, as if the universe had resolved a lingering imbalance. They felt an urge to rush toward you, to embrace you, to cry or laugh, to let everything come undone. Instead, they found themselves motionless, for the disbelief of love can silence even the most voluble hearts. Intriguingly, someone else observed their reaction, a friend, a sibling, or perhaps a present partner. This singular moment has sown seeds of curiosity, jealousy, and suspicion in places unseen. Their face illuminated upon seeing you, an explosion of uncontainable emotion that became impossible to conceal. Consequently, conversations began to brew behind closed doors, all ignited by a single glance, laden with an undeniable truth. What lies ahead is far from ordinary, it is life-altering. The individual who found joy in seeing you is mustering the courage to reveal their feelings, a confession that could rewrite your narrative, love, and destiny in unforeseen ways. Surprising as it may be, what occurred subsequently was not mere chance, rather, it was an alignment so precise that even the universe seemed to pause in awe. Once they glimpsed you, their entire existence shifted. Messages long ignored began to resonate, dreams once dismissed crystallized, and memories thought buried resurfaced with intense clarity. They recognized that every closed door, unexpected turn, and heartache had been steering them back to you. Meanwhile, you continued your life, oblivious to the emotional upheaval you had instigated. You perceived this as yet another routine day, a typical moment, but to them, it resembled destiny returning with compounded significance. They replayed your smile numerous times, scrutinized your posture, your voice, your aura, seeking hidden meanings. Such joy was anything but casual. It overflowed with the essence of someone discovering the missing piece of their life before them. However, destiny is not one to reveal all at once. This individual harbored a secret, a weighty truth that had previously held them back from you. A fear that its revelation would dismantle everything. Yet seeing you now, steadfast and untouchable, imbued them with confidence that you were finally ready to hear it. Their elation was not only emotional but also one of relief, for life had granted them a second chance they believed was irrevocably lost. Yet there's another layer, the revelation that an unexpected third party feels your energetic shift, one who is not jubilant but instead feels threatened, desperate to prevent you from rekindling the bond with the one who truly appreciates your essence. The universe has unwittingly set in motion a clandestine struggle over your fate. You remain unaware of this unfolding drama. But soon paths will converge, conversations will emerge, and truths will be unveiled, prompting the joyous individual to confront you with a confession powerful enough to reshape not only your story but your entire future. What startled the universe next was not merely their joy, it was the way fate began to orchestrate itself around your existence. Phones started ringing, doors sealed long ago clicked open, and those who once undervalued you murmured your name with trepidation, respect, and curiosity. Your return did not merely touch one heart, it catalyzed a reaction chain that cannot now be halted, even by destiny itself. Simultaneously, the individual who rejoiced could no longer conceal their emotions. Friends began to notice their newfound glow, their restlessness, and an unshakable urge to present themselves well, their thrill impossible to disguise. They attempted to feign normalcy, but such profound joy cannot remain subdued. Each heartbeat silently called your name, every thought circled back to you, and with every breath, they embraced the truth, they envision you as part of their future. Yet beneath that elation lies a current of anxiety, aware that someone else, jealous and threatened, has recognized your significance. This individual is already concocting plans, watching, plotting to intervene before the truth unfolds before you. They have seen the spark and dread its potential to ignite a conflagration beyond their control. Meanwhile, you walk forward with serene grace, oblivious to the conflict brewing between two timelines vying for your allegiance. Your silence speaks volumes, your presence resonates with strength, and your growth is undeniable. Yet soon, you will be confronted with a choice: which narrative will shape your destiny? One path leads to love, harmony, and long-awaited closure, while the other veers toward discord, confusion, and someone anxiously attempting to redefine your fate. The most thrilling aspect is that, in the coming moments, a message, a call, or an unexpected meeting will reveal the identity of the person who was thrilled to see you and why they feel it is imperative to secure your presence in their life. Little did you realize, as you walked away, they remained rooted in place, striving to remember every detail of your being before reality whisked you away once more. Their spirit oscillated between disbelief and gratitude, replaying that sacred encounter like a celestial gift from the universe. Their smile did not stem from mere courtesy, it was born from an awakening of a part of themselves they believed had perished. Such raw happiness cannot be fabricated, it exists solely when destiny restores what life previously took. For the first time in years, they felt alive, purposeful, tinged with fear and hope all at once. Their heartbeat resonated not just with excitement but served as a prophetic warning: if they do not act swiftly, this opportunity may vanish forever. They understand your journey has evolved, your standards have risen, and access to your life must now be earned rather than taken for granted. That joy was not casual, it was an acknowledgement that they had awaited you longer than they had ever confessed. The light on their face, the sudden hush, the faraway smile, it unveiled everything they sought to conceal. Now, eyes are observing, inquiries are rising, and curiosity is spreading more swiftly than the truth can catch up. Your presence did not merely touch a heart, it unveiled a bond potent enough to alter numerous lives. Even destiny appears impatient, pushing forth signs, coincidences, and reminders right into their path. Your name emerges in discussions, songs, dreams, and unforeseen locations, as if the universe is determined they should not forget. They are coming to realize that this is not nostalgia, fantasy, or mere coincidence. It is a matter of alignment, timing, and an unfinished fate insisting on resolution. Deep down, they understand they cannot remain silent much longer. A message is taking shape, one they have drafted, erased, rewritten, and hesitated to send. Because once it reaches you, everything will shift. The past will gain significance, the present will become charged, and the future will begin to accelerate towards you at an unstoppable pace. The world may be oblivious to what is approaching, But you are about to discover precisely who was thrilled to see you and why destiny refuses to let them lose you again. What they have not shared with anyone, perhaps even themselves, is that your presence rekindled a memory they had long buried, a promise shared in hushed tones under dim lights, a moment when they quietly vowed to return to you once they became worthy. Witnessing you fulfilled, effortless, and emotionally impervious did not intimidate them. It confirmed that the universe had preserved that promise until both of you were ready. Their joy was not a coincidence but rather a recognition, destiny nudging them, reminding them of unfinished chapters. Meanwhile, their surroundings began responding in peculiar ways. Plans unraveled, meetings were cancelled, and dependable individuals distanced themselves, as if fate were systematically eliminating distractions. Despite their attempts to ignore these signs and ground themselves in logic, routine, and practicality, every path still led back to you. Even silence began to resonate with your voice, guiding them toward a truth their hearts already acknowledged. Their elation does not stem from your reappearance alone, it is because destiny has finally granted them permission to return. Yet, on the opposite end of this narrative lies someone in a state of panic. Individuals who once believed themselves in control now feel threatened by your mere existence. They recognize the shift immediately, the change in tone, the distant gaze, the unexpected flicker of hope. They felt the stirrings of competition without a single word exchanged. Consequently, fear is compelling them toward choices that could complicate matters, including your tranquility. As you navigate life, you remain unaware that two timelines are converging, poised to collide right at your feet, one built on genuine soul recognition that endures even after years of silence, and the other driven by insecurity, possession, and an urgent need to cling to something that is already slipping away. You did not instigate this conflict, yet your growth has triggered it, and now the universe is observing which path you will choose. Soon, very soon, an all too familiar name, face, place, or serendipitous moment will unveil the identity of the individual who was overjoyed to reconnect with you, not for attention, validation, or closure, but because they finally grasped the reality that losing you once more would be the greatest tragedy of their existence. What fate orchestrated next seemed almost otherworldly. Just when they thought silence would prevail, something materialized that shattered their restraint, a photo, a message, a memory, a location, something deeply personal to the two of you that left their heart racing. It was as if the universe not only opened the door, it propelled them towards it, illustrating that destiny becomes relentless when disregarded. Their joy transformed into urgency, a pressing need to ensure that another lifetime would not pass without action. That night, they found no rest, pacing floors, staring at ceilings, rehearsing dialogues, and questioning destiny, ultimately arriving at the same undeniable conclusion: you are recognized by their soul, even without formal introduction. They attempted to rationalize this, attributing their feelings to nostalgia, timing, and coincidence, yet none of these explanations could clarify the profound emotional response elicited by your presence. That joy transcended mere emotion, it was cellular, spiritual, etched into their very existence long before either of you understood its significance. Meanwhile, whispers have already begun circulating. Those around them have noticed the transformation, the softened tone, the unprompted smiles, the sudden eagerness to improve, to evolve. They are clearing away the clutter of their lives, cutting off distractions, dismantling past patterns, not in pursuit of you, but because seeing you illuminated the person they have always aspired to become. Your presence did not merely bring happiness, it resurrected a version of themselves they believed lost. Yet, destiny relishes drama, and someone else has now entered this narrative, unwilling to accept that such joy could belong to you. They are preparing to intervene, to sow confusion, to drag them back to cycles that were never meant to endure. This individual does not celebrate their happiness but instead fears what reconnecting with you might reveal. Unseen battles are already unfolding in the background. Soon, the truth will manifest unexpectedly, a chance encounter, a slip of the tongue, an emotional revelation, something inevitable that will expose exactly who was elated at the sight of you. And when that moment arrives, everything once thought concluded, forgotten, or unattainable will surge back with a force potent enough to rewrite your entire destiny. What Destiny next delivered was far from gentle. Out of the blue, their name illuminated your screen like a sign you could not dismiss. It was not a message, not yet, just a notification revealing they were suddenly viewing your profile, your story, your picture. In that instant, time slowed, energy shifted, and your intuition whispered, someone has been anticipating this. Their joy spilled into action, even if they feigned it was accidental. However, the twist is that they were not alone in this moment. An observer nearby witnessed the spark in their eyes, the sudden stillness in their breath, the emotional tempest they could not conceal. That silent watcher now comprehends the truth. Your name holds power. Your presence leaves imprints. And your absence never truly erased anything. From that instant onward, the dynamics surrounding them began to shift in ways you will soon perceive. Their happiness did not diminish after seeing you, it intensified, matured, and crystallized into clarity. They began to question every decision that had distanced them from you, every fear that led them to silence, every rationale that postponed destiny. They recognized that joy of such depth is not coincidence, it is a guiding force. Suddenly, the life they fashioned without you felt inadequate, fleeting, incomplete. Their feeling of being overjoyed does not even scratch the surface. They feel chosen, guided, and redirected by divine influence. Meanwhile, the opposing forces working against this reunion are becoming increasingly agitated. An individual who benefited from their emotional distance now perceives peril. They are attempting to act sweeter, exerting greater effort to regain control, fully aware that they have already lost this invisible contest. They discern something in that moment that you have yet to grasp. Your presence was not merely welcomed, it was celebrated, reminiscent of a long-awaited homecoming. The universe is now orchestrating a moment from which you cannot escape, a conversation, a meeting, a confession. Something unstoppable is rocketing toward you, for the one who was overjoyed to see you is done hiding, finished hesitating, and prepared to reveal everything you were never meant to question but rightfully deserve to know. Without warning, the universe offered another unmistakable sign. Just as you assumed the moment had passed, you encountered their energy once again, a familiar scent, a song, a glance, something intangible wrapped around you, pulsating with the essence of fate itself. You did not see them, but they saw you. That same overwhelming joy surged back with greater intensity, louder and impossible to restrain. Their heart was not merely racing, it was remembering, choosing, proclaiming. Then came the unexpected shift. Those around them began to recognize the transformation they could no longer disguise. The sudden radiance, the unpredictable excitement, and the softened tone of voice during conversations about you, that truth betrayed every effort to remain composed. Happiness of such purity inevitably leaves traces, and now those in their vicinity are taking notice. Meanwhile, the envious observer from earlier is spiraling. Every moment feels like a countdown, each silence a sign of defeat. Their fear has morphed into strategy, digging deeper, probing, manipulating, seeking anything that might sever this bond before it fully establishes itself. Fate remains unbothered by interferences, for such profound joy is not born of convenience but of destiny. Herein lies a pivotal turn in the narrative. Your intuition has begun to awaken, allowing you to perceive subtle hints, feel unexplainable emotions, and sense an affectionate presence watching over you without any strings attached. Although you have yet to identify this presence, your soul responds to the urgency and the shift in the atmosphere. Deep down, you recognize that someone is ready to enter your life, bringing with them truth rather than hesitation. Soon, the universe will clear every veil, distraction, and barrier. A face will materialize, a voice will resonate, and a moment will unfold to reveal the depth of joy that awaited your arrival. This joy stems not from the person you once were, but from the individual you have become, one who was always meant to play a pivotal role in their story. Everything transformed when fate compelled them to halt their flight. Instead of suppressing their emotions as before, they have finally confronted the truth. They shiver with overwhelming feelings yet possess a profound certainty. In their mind, they play back the instant they first saw you, unearthing not merely joy but destiny demanding acknowledgement. Their heart did not simply rejoice at your presence, it recognized its rightful home. Now, each step they take feels guided, each decision purposeful, and every shred of doubt has vanished as if it never existed. They no longer ponder if they should reveal themselves, rather, they wonder how they previously lived without making such an effort. The joy that sparked their newfound determination has not waned. However, the universe continues to challenge this connection. As a jealous observer has breached an unspoken boundary, they have begun to pose questions, formulate assumptions, and stir shadows in a futile attempt to obstruct the path that destiny has already sanctioned. Their fears are loud, chaotic, and desperate, exposing truths they have endeavored to conceal. Meanwhile, your own life is shifting in ways that may seem unconnected. You encounter unexpected opportunities, sudden clarity, and an emotional tranquility that defies explanation. Your spirit feels lifted, and your intuition resonates more strongly than before, as if preparing you for a revelation that will alter everything you believe to be settled. You are not in a state of waiting. You are unknowingly aligning with your destiny. Soon, a moment will arrive, so precise and divinely orchestrated, that every disparate piece will fall into place, unveiling the identity of the individual who rejoiced at your presence. You will understand the reasons why destiny safeguarded this connection and how your narrative was always destined to return to this breathtakingly undeniable beginning. The universe has already begun to reveal the truths that people often desperately try to obscure, for the person who was joyous at the sight of you can no longer contain the emotions that have been quietly boiling within. They have reached a tipping point, not born of suffering, but as a result of an overwhelming epiphany. Each sign, coincidence, and unexpected alignment echoes the same message: losing you once more is not a possibility that destiny will permit. They have started to rearrange their lives in anticipation of your arrival, even without your knowledge, clearing out emotional, mental, and spiritual clutter, removing individuals and habits that once stood as barriers between you both. Their excitement has transcended into a determination to reconnect, igniting a courageous spirit within them that had previously remained dormant. Now they are evolving into someone who will not merely admire you from afar but is ready to stand alongside you. Yet, while destiny flows with elegance, resistance clings with desperation. The jealous observer is faltering, scrambling to maintain a narrative that was never rightfully theirs. They have sensed the transformation, the radiance, and the quiet certainty materializing in the air. They comprehend, on some deep level, that something transformative is approaching, and they are terrified because they instinctively realize that you are the essence of both their conclusions and beginnings. Meanwhile, a tranquil awareness has settled within you that defies rational explanation. You are no longer pursuing, searching, or questioning. You are simply existing in a state of knowing that something monumental is route. You feel under divine guidance, chosen and cherished. Unbeknownst to you, preparations have already begun for a conversation that destiny has been scripting for years. The silence between you and this elated soul will soon be shattered, not through coincidence but through intention. A voice will emerge, a meeting will occur, and a confession will arise. In that instant, every delay, heartache, distance, and lesson will suddenly coalesce into clarity. For joy of such magnitude was never meant to remain concealed, it was always destined to return to you.